sports.
We are Blackboard. We are Sunforce.
The Rays' quick trip to the Lone Star State was a success, taking 2 of 3 from the Houston Astros. Tonight, Tampa Bay opens a 10-game homestand versus the big league's best power hitter, Nelson Cruz, and the Baltimore Orioles. Tonight, the Rays return home. We welcome you to Tropicana Field for Game 1 of a 3-game series between the Rays and the Baltimore Orioles. Hi again, everyone, and welcome to an evening of Rays baseball. With Brian Anderson, I'm Dwayne Statz. Todd Callis along in just a few moments. Well, the Rays fresh off a series victory on that short trip to Houston, and tonight a 10-game homestand begins with the Baltimore Orioles in town. Jake Odorizzi is going to have to face a powerful lineup led by Nelson Cruz, who leads the league, leads the major leagues for that matter, in home runs and runs batted in.
Yeah, and Nelson Cruz is going to have the full attention of this Rays starting rotation, bullpen, everybody on that pitching staff for the next couple of days, and a good reason why are those numbers right there. The home runs, the runs batted in, that leads Major League Baseball. The slugging percentage leads the American League. And what makes him so dangerous? Obviously seeing the ball very well, and he's got tremendous plate coverage. So if you leave pitches out over the plate, he can hurt you in a big way. The Rays are going to have their work cut out for him with Nelson Cruz. Tonight, the first guy that's going to get his opportunity is Jake Odorizzi, coming off his best start of the season, pitching into the 8th inning. 104 pitches. He gave up just the 3 hits, 1 earned run, really had all of his pitches working. And what Jake said, interesting, he said, you know what? He said, I pounded the strike zone early and I got these hitters into swing mode. He's going to take that approach into tonight, but you got to remember one thing. This Baltimore team, when they get off the bus, they're in swing mode. He's going to have to be precise.
Odorizzi coming off that outing against the Redbirds. He was tough on the Cardinals, and with our apologies to the Audubon Society, he'll try to be very tough on the Orioles here at Tropicana Field tonight. The wrap-up game and the victory of that Houston series, Jake McGee got the final out. In fact, the final pitch hit 100 miles per hour. Todd Callis has more on that when we return.
Rays as they get ready for lefty, as Wei-Yin Chen will be their opponent this evening. Speaking of lefties, the Rays have one that may be their all-star representative. He was kind of the 7th, 8th guy, setup guy before the Rays put him into the slot last night or yesterday afternoon in the 9th inning, because now it's a closer by committee for Joe Madden. And yesterday, Joe said he loved McGee against that slot in the lineup. Really likes him against righties, although he ended up facing a couple of lefties in yesterday's game. Picked up some big strikeouts as McGee would go 4 batters, really avoided disaster with a double play ground ball that wasn't turned, and picked up a strikeout of John Singleton to end the game. Where you look at McGee's numbers all season long, they are worthy of going to Minneapolis for the All-Star game. Yesterday, his 2nd career save. We asked him if the 9th inning felt a little bit different than the 7th and 8th innings previous to this.
I think I had a little more adrenaline, knowing it was a 1-run game, and the middle of their lineup was coming up, and it was kind of a little more pressure situation, to get in the last 3 outs in that situation. I always have a little more adrenaline than coming in a little earlier. So
Joe still considers this a closer by committee, with Grant Balfour and Joel Peralta also getting their shots. But you got to think that with the way Jake McGee's going, it's going to be tough to pass up number 57 in some save opportunities as we move forward. We're under 3 minutes to go until the first pitch. O's and the Rays right around the corner.
ODORIZZI takes the mound tonight, coming off a career-high outing. His last time out against the Cardinals, 7 1/3 innings in what turned out to be a 1-0 loss for the Rays. And ODORIZZI tonight, he goes up against the Baltimore Orioles. And here is the Baltimore lineup presented by your Southern Ford dealers. Nick Markakis leads it off, then Manny Machado and Adam Jones. Jones, the center fielder, hitting third. Chris Davis in the cleanup spot, and then comes the DH Nelson Cruz. J.J. Hardy follows, the shortstop. David Lowe, Ryan Flaherty, and Caleb Joseph rounding out Buck Showalter's lineup.
Let's take a look at the season numbers of Jake Odorizzi. He's making his 14th start, 2-7 record, ERA 4.85. But you just go back to that last start and the way that he threw the ball pitching into the 8th inning, giving up just 3 hits, 1 run. Of course, that would be a tough luck loss for Jake, but he was able to see the progress that he had made, recognize the fact that he had pitched well, and really brings into tonight's start a tremendous amount of confidence. Let's take a quick look at the Rays defense as it lines up behind Jake. Brought to you by Gold and Diamond Source. In the outfield, left to right, Ben Zobrist, Desmond Jennings, and Kevin Kiermaier. Across the infield, third to first, Evan Longoria, YUNEL Escobar, Logan Forsythe, and Sean Rodriguez. Ryan Hannigan will be behind the plate.
Odorizzi set to go to work, and Nick Markakis, the right fielder, settles into the batter's box. First pitch of this game, a bit cut and a miss. First pitch presented by Pinch a Penny.
And that is going to be the key for Jake Odorizzi. Pitch to the corners, be very good with your command and precise with your location, because this is a free swinging Baltimore lineup top to bottom.
Markakis hitting .297 and over .400 this year, leading off games in that first inning. He's going to be out tonight in his first at bat. Sean Rodriguez to Odorizzi covering, and Markakis is out number 1.
And this Baltimore lineup does nothing. I mean, they're not fancy. They don't run very much. Fewest stolen bases in Major League Baseball. They don't walk. Fewest walks in Major League Baseball. They sit back and let it rip. Play for the big inning.
And to this point, they're 9th in the league in runs. But you're right, dead last when it comes to walking. They like to swing the bats. First pitch to Manny Machado is a strike.
Well, it's tough for them too, because they're 3rd in the league in home runs, but like you said, 9th in total runs. And everything that they manufacture, they have to do themselves. They don't allow the pitcher to help them out at all with taking walks, good on base percentage. They've got to make everything happen with the sticks, and that's tough to do.
Buck Showalter in his 5th year as the manager of this Baltimore club. 2 years ago, they went 93-69. Last year, 85 wins. And right now, they are tied for 2nd in the East, tied with the Yankees, 4.5 games behind the Toronto Blue Jays. Up to 316 wins, directing the affairs of the Baltimore Orioles.
Well, the one thing that Baltimore has been getting is their starting pitching the last few weeks has been very consistent, very solid. They've got a very good bullpen. Got some arms out of there that give you some. Darren O'Day comes to mind. Zach Britton with that sinker.
3-2, and there's a foul ball back.
And they catch the baseball.
Well, they made 34 errors. The Rays have made 30. Well, they made 36. I think the Rays 34. And there we take a look at the American League East. Rays 13.5 back right now. Rays start tonight 27-43.
See, Joe's bands are starting to work their way up his forearm.
Machado fouls this one out of play. See another 3-2 pitch. Odorizzi tonight. That's quite a collection.
It is.
Odorizzi's hit 92, 93 already. He's come out firing here in the first inning. Of course, most of us already know the situation with him. First time through, very effective, and recently he's been better the second and third times through the lineup. High foul, that's going to carry out a play.
Well, it's all about making adjustments, and you knew that those numbers were going to start to come back to normal, and that's exactly what we've seen. But Jake with that fastball, and you're seeing it here in this at bat to Machado. And there's a couple different guys in this lineup, Nelson Cruz being another one that you can elevate the fastball, and we've seen Jake do that extremely effectively. Elevate the fastball to go along with that slow curve, and then sprinkle in the changeup and slider.
Foul ball again.
This is the other thing that we've seen. A lot of foul balls because of that style of pitching, and because he doesn't get a ton of movement on the fastball or sinking action, he gives up a lot of foul balls and deep counts.
Well, number 10, Adam Jones, is on deck, and this will be the 10th pitch of this at bat for Machado. ODORIZZI to the plate. They got it. Fastball away, strikes him out. 2 gone.
You know, Jake made a comment his last start about getting a lineup into swing mode. Well, this team is always in swing mode, but when you get a guy fouling off a lot of pitches, all of a sudden you can miss. That was ball 4 right there. That ball off the plate away. But Machado, these guys, they want to swing the bat, and you can expand on them.
And Machado chasing that pitch, pretty typical of this lineup top to bottom. That's what we were talking about there. They don't walk much. This guy never walks. Adam Jones, I mean, it's amazing.
It really,
what a great player, and he never walks.
Unreal. You know, we thought last year, in just under 700 plate appearances, he had walked 25 times. Well, this year, over 162 game schedule, he is on pace to walk 17 times.
How incredible that is.
He's got 7 walks this year.
Well, you saw the first swing he took. I mean, he almost winds up to swing, at least on that first pitch. He just can't wait. Pops it up. First base side foul. Sean Rodriguez takes care of it. And 1, 2, 3 go the Baltimore Orioles. Rays are coming in to hit. No score. Inning coming up. No score. First game of the homestand with Baltimore in town. Desmond Jennings leads it off. Rays lineup presented by your Southern Ford dealers. YUNEL ESCOBAR up in the second spot. Then Evan Longoria. Ben Zobrist cleanup. The DH is James Loney with Sean Rodriguez at first. Logan Forsythe hits 7th. Ryan Hannigan, the 8th place hitter, and Kevin Kiermaier, who recently has been up in the number 2 spot against the lefty, will bat 9th.
Well, taking the mound tonight for the Baltimore Orioles is going to be left-hander Wei-Yin Chen, making his 14th start of the season. It's been a very consistent season for Chen. As you see his numbers, 7-2 record, ERA 3.76. 8 of his 13 starts, he's given up 2 earned runs or fewer, including his last one against the Boston Red Sox. He went 7 shutout in picking up that 7th win on just 87 pitches.
Chen all set to go to work, and here's Desmond Jennings, who remains in the leadoff spot for the Rays. First pitch, and he's after that one, fouling it on the play. Strike 1.
It'll be interesting to see the way that Joe Madden has his lineup constituted tonight. You know, the Rays have had a couple of guys each day out for early work, working on different facets of their offensive game. Today, It was Jennings. It was Escobar. They're 1-2. Working on some small ball things, hitting the ball the other way. You just wonder what Joe Maddon has in mind with moving Escobar up there and these two playing off each other and trying to get that offense going and have it be consistent.
Well, you're right. The Rays have been doing quite a bit of extra work. There's a foul ball. Maddon had said earlier today that he just sees working on fundamentals as a way to not only sharpen the performance, but sharpening the focus.
It's a long season, and every now and then you need to have a goal. You need to have something you're working towards. And it's also a skill sport. You've got to go out and work on these things. That's why infielders take ground balls every day. Outfielders take balls off the bat during BP every day. You've got to continue to work on things, and in order to maximize your offense, you're going to have to do little things, and so therefore you better come out early and work.
2 balls, 2 strikes the count.
The balance is because it is such a long season, you don't want to burn guys out and have them working so hard that there's nothing left at come game time. But you do have to hone your skills.
Now full count drawn here by Jennings. Chen doesn't walk many hitters, just 11, and just under 77 innings of work. High pop foul. That's going to carry straight back and go out of play.
Yeah, to that end, you know, in his last 3 starts, Chen is 2-0, 1.45 earned run average, 18 2/3 innings, and he's walked just 1 while striking out 17.
Yep. Ground ball headed towards short. Hardy to his left and makes the solid throw to first. So that's 1 away in the Rays half of the first. Let's check in with Todd for a moment. Todd, what's up?
Dwayne, along those lines, what you guys are talking about, here's some of that early work. Joe Maddon having Desmond Jennings and YUNEL Escobar practice playing on that little small ball. It's a heavier bat. It's a smaller size baseball. Ryan Hannigan and Matt Joyce also took some swings against the small ball today. YUNEL Escobar. Also, Sean Rodriguez and Kevin Kiermaier working on their bunting before the game. Drag bunting and also pushing bunts along. It was an excessive pregame session for Joe Maddon. What he said, guys, before the game is, I don't want to wait till the All-Star break. Sometimes he does refresher courses during the All-Star break. He feels like it's imperative right now going into this 10-game homestand that they use every day during this homestand. He calls it spring training in June, guys.
He's got Escobar up in the 2nd spot. Interesting in that Escobar, if you go just by the numbers, he's as good as you're going to get in this lineup against left-handed pitching for the Rays at .365. But he's 1 for 12 in his career against Chen. And it's really, that's sort of reflective of the season the Rays have had. All right, we'll hit him 2nd. He's hitting great against lefties, but against this lefty, right. 1 for 12.
Right.
Well, there's a shot. He's 2 for 13. That baby's gone. 1-0 Tampa Bay. Escobar's 4th home run of the year, and the Rays break out in front.
This small ball bat may have worked out for the power. The heavier bat, he certainly looked quick on this swing. Boy, mislocation by Chen and quick inside YUNEL Escobar. Hands, everything on time, and that was a no-doubter.
10th home run given up by Chen, and they've all been hit by right-handed batters. So here's Longoria. Evan fouls it away. That's a strike. So the long ball puts the Rays on top early. There's a shot deep to center field. Well tagged. That was going to be off the wall. Jones plays the carom. A double for Longoria. Rays have a brand new cutout in the outfield fence out there just to the left field side of center. And Longoria found it.
Well, again, mislocation. Wants that ball away. It ends up middle of the plate, and with some elevation, Evan Longoria puts a charge into it. Adam Jones, watch where he's playing. That ball was up there for a long time, but he's not able to get there. Short hops the wall, and the Rays threatening again.
Double number 11 for Longoria. Now Ben Zobrist. And fouls that one. One strike to count. Zobrist does have good numbers against Wei-Yin Chen, hitting 425 at bats, including a home run in those 10 hits.
Well, what the Rays know about Chen is because of the walk total, Dwayne, you brought up earlier, he's going to be around the plate, and he's not going to blow you away. He does mix his pitches very well. That's what makes him effective. But you're going to see pitches to hit.
Foul back 0-2.
The key for the Rays will be when you do get those mistakes out over the plate occasionally, you can't miss them. And so far, they haven't. Escobar made him pay, and so did Evan Longoria. Which, by the way, you hope he comes in and scores and takes that helmet off, because what's hiding underneath that helmet is very, very World Cup.
There's a whole new look right there.
I like it, too.
That's going to be strike 3 call. Lance Barrett calling the balls and strikes, and he called Zobrist out on strikes.
Well, teasing him middle of the plate away, and then all of a sudden he comes in and closes him out with the fastball.
Out number 2. Now James Loney. Loney gets a night off from playing first base. He's the DH.
Just talking to James Loney about the challenges of DHing, the challenges of pinch hitting when you're not involved in the game out in the field. You gotta find different ways to keep yourself occupied and sharp and ready to go.
Ball, no strikes. And until you stop and think about it, it's such a big difference. In Loney's case, he's particularly a guy who plays every day defensively and prides himself in his defense. He's involved in every pitch defensively, and suddenly you're just the DH. Hopper on the left side, and a nice job of Joseph, the catcher, tracking that one down in front of the dugout. So the Rays leave a man. They pick up 2 hits and grab the lead on the home run by YUNEL Escobar. It's 1-0 Tampa Bay. Giving the Rays a 1-0 lead at the end of the first inning here at the Trop. Let's take a look at the updated American League All-Star voting. And you see the leaders starting in the outfield. Melky Cabrera in left, Trout in center, Bautista in right. Around the infield left side, Donaldson and Jeter, with Robinson Cano leading at second. Cabrera at first, DH Nelson Cruz, and Matt Wieters, who is due to have Tommy John surgery tomorrow, topping that list. Of course, the All-Star game on Fox July 15th, and fan voting on MLB.com continues through July 3rd. First pitch from ODORIZZI here in the second inning is a strike to Chris Davis. Don't forget, the Home Run Derby will be on ESPN Monday, July 14th at 8 o'clock. 1-1 the count to Davis. Cruz next, and then Hardy.
That'll be here before you know it. That'll be here before you know it. I think that's when you'll get a very accurate read on what exactly this Rays team is going to be able to do.
Yep, and I'll tell you, this homestand is going to go a long way toward that. It's a crucial homestand for them. And Joe Madden's team has a shot to be serious about some slop in the postseason.
10-game homestand, 7 of the 10 against teams under 500. Got to take advantage.
It's upstairs, 2-2. The extreme shift on here for Chris Davis, and that's nothing new.
We got Logan Forsythe deep out here. Sean Rodriguez real close to the line.
Rizzi 2-2 with him. Oh, he got it. Strike 3. Caught him looking.
Chris Davis continuing to wait for something with a little velocity to it. And ODORIZZI, you see right there the grip, that little split change, the thing too, and he just drops it right there for the strikeout. Speaking of strikeouts, you wouldn't think Jake ODORIZZI much of a strikeout pitcher, but I'll tell you what, how about his strikeout numbers this year?
You know, he's got a couple of things going for him. That high fastball, you know, he'll if he gets it up enough, and he frequently has, it's tough to get on top of it. Here's Nelson Cruz. Big cut there. That breaking ball, that curveball right there, came in at 69 miles per hour. And that's another thing he's got going for him.
And they play off of each other so well. The change in speed and the depth of the pitch.
High popper, left side. Longoria now in foul ground. Has it. So 2 up, 2 down.
Yeah, those pitches play very well together, and then when you combine that, you think about that split changeup that he's throwing, and what he got Chris Davis on. When he can be consistent with that pitch, look out. And that's been some of the issues. You know, he's given up some big hits on that changeup when it doesn't have any finish to it. And obviously it's still a relatively new pitch for him. But when that's going to go along with the other two, and that's when you see the big strikeouts. And right now, this season, he's over 10.5 strikeouts per 9 innings. Pretty impressive.
Well, we start to see the number of weapons that he has. And number one, his fastball, well, in the first inning, he hit 93 with that. 2-0, just missed with that pitch to Hardy. So he's starting to show the variety of pitches, and it's a matter now of command. And like you talked about that split change. You don't want to leave a lot of those up. Sometimes, though, the change of speed nails you out, but you do want that depth to that pitch.
It's just figuring out. That really started a few starts ago against the Cleveland Indians. That fastball up in the zone to go along with that slow curve. Now it's trying to put together game plans where you're mixing them all in. You've got a really good mix going, and Jake's been able to do that.
Toward the hole, backhanded by Escobar. The throw to first just did not get there in time. Great effort. Escobar deep in the hole, and he got rid of that throw right on the money, but just not quite in time.
Well, he had to go a long way. Look how, and he's deep. That's a deep throw. You really don't get an idea of how far that is until you go out there to deep shortstop, then go out into the outfield a few steps and look at first base. It's a long way away, and so to be able to get it there, impressive enough. Look how far he had to range to his right and then throw moving away from first.
Well, that's the kind of shortstop play that Joe Maddon anticipated last year when he came. And he gave the Rays a lot of great shortstop play. And that effort right there, hard to get much better than that.
No. You know, and that's the thing too, is that throw moving away, how deep he was. You know, when you go to these tryout camps, you know, big league tryout camps, or they're having, that's what they're going to do. If you're an infielder, they take you way out to deep short.
Yeah.
And that's where you're going to throw from. And you can't believe how far it is once you get out there, and you got to put some effort into it. But you're right. Last year, you know, Escobar's played shortstop stellar. Well, that's why he was a finalist for a Gold Glove.
As was all of the infielders. As were all of the infielders. The Rays finalists for the Gold Glove Award. David Lowe with a count of 1-1. The other way, foul. 1-2. Rizzi got the first two men. Give up the base hit to Hardy deep in the hole at shortstop. Ryan Flaherty is on deck. Lowe coming over from Kansas City. Spent most of the year with the Royals last year, a little bit at Omaha, at 286, and has not gotten on track with the Orioles at 183 this year. Rizzi ahead of him in the count. Another foul ball out of play. Jake with a left-handed hitter up there. We'll see that split a little more in play. And with the right-handed hitters. Although we'll see it to both. Just a little more to the lefty. Lowe tired of waiting, and he asked for some time.
Now Ryan Hannigan trying to think of what pitch to attack David Lowe with right here. Well, they got it.
Ball two. Fastball put away. Rizzi with a couple strikeouts so far tonight, working in the top of the second. At 52 strikeouts now in his last 39 innings. Count holds at 2-2.
Yeah, more foul balls here from Baltimore hitters, and David Lowe going outside of the strike zone right there. That's what this lineup will do all the way through. And Jake, I'm sure that information has been passed along to him. Get ahead early, expand late. Locked in a little bit of a battle right here.
We're going to go full. Miss inside with a 2-2 slider. Slider speed about 84, 85.
Well, this is going to give J.J. Hardy the opportunity to get a running start. Full count, 2 outs. He'll be off.
The pitch is fouled again. The fastball. Look at this.
Yeah, right down the middle, just below the belt. Now, if you're David Lough, you're not going to get a better pitch than that right there to try and drive.
Now, this will be the second 10-pitch at bat ODORIZZI's dealt with. Runner goes. The pitch is fouled again. And we're going to see an 11-pitch at bat.
Yeah, this is what kills Jake on the pitch count. It's just a lot of long at bats with the foul ball because, you know, when you think about, well, that fastball stays pretty true. Guys looking to stay alive will foul that off a lot, especially when you pitch up in the zone. You'll get a lot of foul balls.
And that pitch is down. He missed with a fastball. Hardy moves to second on the walk to Lough. Well, ODORIZZI has averaged a little over 19 pitches an inning, and if you project that out, pitches start to mount up in the 5th and 6th innings. Makes it difficult to go deep.
Yeah, well, it wasn't that long ago that he was at 19.9. You think about that. That's 5 innings, 100 pitches, and that's what we've been seeing out of Jake. That's why that last start was so encouraging, getting into the 8th inning at just over 100 pitches. In a little bit of trouble here.
Ryan Flaherty, the number 8 hitter, is going after the first pitch and fouls it back for a strike.
And they had the shift here on Flaherty, looking for that last out. You can see the Rays infielders, YUNEL ESCOBAR right behind second base right here. Everybody peeled around. And obviously the Rays more familiar with the Baltimore Orioles. They'll be very aggressive with the shifts against this team.
It's too high. It's 1-1. This next pitch will put Jake on a 20 pitch per inning pace. They got 2 outs in this inning in pretty short order. The 3-1 before Hardy got the infield hit. Low walk. And ball 2 upstairs. And the other issue, when you start to compress a lot of pitches, even at the outset of a game, he had a nice 14 pitch first inning, but here he is 26 pitches in the second.
Man, he jumped out ahead of David Lough. That was the tough one, to lose him after being out in front, fouling off a number of pitches, a deep at bat, and you don't pick up the out. Those hurt. And now he's missed badly with a couple of pitches here against Flaherty. So that's what prompted the visit from Ryan Hannigan. Just a little reminder to get him back in the zone.
A big cut by Flaherty. Fastball down to first, diving back in. Low.
We do not get lazy in the big leagues on the bases. Rays almost pulled one here. David Lough goes back into first base, just a little bit nonchalant. Well, right there he got himself caught in thinking contact, and Sean Rodriguez quick to try to sneak in behind him. One misstep out there and they can get you.
Yeah, and Hannigan was pretty good about kind of nonchalanting that until Rodriguez got into a spot where he could get to the bag.
He had to look the safety off.
2-2. Got the miss. He chased it up out of the zone for the strikeout. The Orioles lead 2. Rays lead 1-0.
3-0 lead. Let's take a quick look at the Baltimore defense, brought to you by Gold and Diamond Source. In the outfield, left to right, David Lowe, Adam Jones, and Nick Markakis. Across the infield, third to first, Manny Machado, J.J. Hardy, Ryan Flaherty, and Chris Davis. Caleb Joseph will handle the catching duties.
Braves have taken a 1-0 lead. YUNEL Escobar's home run in the first inning off Wei-Yin Chen. Chen now has allowed 10 home runs this year. He gave up 29 home runs his first year with the Orioles in 2012 in 32 starts. He gave up only 1 home run in April. Gave up 6 in May and now 3 here in the month of June. Halfway through the month. First pitch to Sean Rodriguez is low. Sean 216 overall, 241 against left-handed pitching. Was out in front. Sean looking for something a little harder than that. Got the changeup.
Yeah, well, you know what? You get ahead in the count as a hitter 1-0, and you're going to sell out for that fastball.
That's what makes the changeup so effective.
That's it. Called pitching.
Under it, and lifts a pop fly shallow left for Lowe. That's out number 1.
You know, there were times against certain hitters where I didn't mind falling behind 1-0 because I thought that gave me an advantage to go to the changeup.
I think all those guys who have a good changeup would prefer to start the count 1-0.
Yeah.
2-0.
You immediately, give the hitters infused with a false sense of confidence, like, oh, I got this guy. I'm starting to be ahead in the count. I'm going to see something hard out over the plate. I certainly wasn't going to blow anybody away, but that was a good count, as Chen, you saw, to go to that changeup. And you'll get swings like that in weak contact a lot.
1-0 to Forsythe. Fastball up and away.
The problem was if you missed with that changeup, then you start getting into some trouble.
1-1. Forsythe playing second base. There's a lot of right-handed bats in the lineup in this game against Chen, who, interestingly enough, has held right-handed batters to a 260 average. Lefties 361 against him. All the home runs, however, off him have come from right-handed hitters.
Yeah, very interesting numbers, and a lot of that reason, for the lefties having the success off of him is because, his slider is a little bit further down the list as far as effectiveness, and that would be the pitch that you would really go after the lefties with. The fastball changeup plays a whole lot better against right-handed hitters than it does lefties. Generally speaking.
Yep. Chen up to 93 on that last pitch, and it was fouled back the other way.
I saw his last start, a few innings of it against the Boston Red Sox, and he, in that game, had really good jump on that fastball, getting it up, same thing.
Ground ball headed up the middle and through into center. Forsythe has a base hit his first time up. The Rays have a base runner with 1 out.
Well, able to punch it right back up the middle and beat the Oriole defense. There's that slider right there, just kind of sweeps across the plate right into the swing of Logan. And a 1-out hit.
Now Ryan Hannigan approaches the plate. Hannigan back active, hitting .218 for the year. 3 home runs and 22 runs batted in. Strike 1. The big cut was a little late. Hannigan this year, 2 of 24 against left-handed pitching. He was a career .276 hitter against lefties coming into this season. So you have to think that the rest of the way there could be a lot of hits in these matchups he has with lefties.
And we thought that coming in, that offensively he was not getting near as much credit as his numbers would indicate because of the down year last year, which had some injury issues, which not going to help you go up there and be able to hit and be consistent.
Pitch upstairs, so it's 1-2.
And early on, he was hot. Going through April and first part of May.
Yep.
Very productive down in the bottom of that Rays lineup.
And here's the other thing last year. The nature of his injuries don't bode well for hitters. Oblique, wrist injury. Those are tough to fight your way through a season and be productive at all. There's a shot, but it's foul.
Those may be the two worst when you think about a hitter.
Yep.
Got to be quick with the hands. Your oblique, oblique in baseball, that's a bad injury all around because everything is about twisting and torque.
Hey, you can't coach third base with an oblique injury. I mean, you got to wave guys in.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, think about that.
Yeah.
I mean, that really is a bad injury.
Oblique injury will keep you up at night. Tough to breathe, early on when it's.
Yeah. One ball, two strikes. Out of play. Rays with a run on 3 hits. The run coming on the Escobar home run. Back again. Battling at bat here for Hannigan against Wei-Yin Chen. Chen 7-2 this year. Last year finished 7-7. A high pop fly into center. Adam Jones is there to catch it for the second out. So 2 gone with Forsythe still at first. Put your hands together this Saturday, June 21st. The Rays host the Astros and turn back the clock to the 70s. The Rays Summer Concert Series continues after the game with the OJs playing hits like Backstabbers and For the Love of Money. The concert is free with the purchase of that game's ticket. Visit RaysBaseball.com/concerts or call 888-FAN-RAYS. Kiermaier chops it down to first. That's a foul ball. Gloved and foul ground by Davis. Strike one.
Well, Ron Culpa right there along the line taking a look at the trajectory of that baseball and having to make that quick judgment as Chris Davis made the leap to make the play. See it right here. Clearly foul.
Culpa, the crew chief of this group. Two strikes to count to the Rays right fielder. The last handful of games the Rays had Jennings and Kiermaier 1-2 against the lefty tonight. Kiermaier out of the 9th spot, so Jennings is on deck. Still in the leadoff position for the Rays. Kiermaier grounds it foul, holding the count at 0-2. Chen coming off a win over Boston his last time, 7 shutout innings, and had a season tie 7 strikeouts. Won 4 in a row with 3 no decisions mixed into that stretch. Pretty close. Kiermaier takes ball 1.
Yeah, that good take by Kevin Kiermaier, because this is a tough pitch here by Chen, trying to expand that zone with the breaking ball just off the edge. I don't know if I would take it again.
Well, that's either a great eye or, you know what, I'm just not going to be able to do it. They can't swing at it.
That's right. Don't swing at what you can't hit. Sometimes you look
2-2, snap down to first and back in. Forsythe with his hand on the backside of the bag.
Well, you want to be aggressive in your secondary lead, but you've got to be ready. You see right there again, that little crossover step almost gets Logan Forsythe in trouble. We saw that in the previous inning with Ryan Hannigan making a throw down there. Same type of situation.
Two high towering pop foul. Davis starts after it. So does Flaherty, but it's out of play. So Kiermaier continues to battle the left-hander Chen. Center field. Jones to his left makes the catch on the move. Ray's going to hit, leave a man. We're through 2, 1-0 Tampa Bay.
Third inning. Official word came this morning via Major League Baseball's Twitter account that Tony Gwynn, baseball legend, passed away today from cancer. We have a little piece of Tony that lives on here at Tropicana Field on the second level. He is in the Ted Williams Hitters Hall of Fame. He was inducted in 2003. You're looking at some of the memorabilia that lies there. Be sure to check that out on your next visit to the Trop. A few of the Rays players and, of course, Coach Joe Maddon talked about him before the game today. Maddon called his hitting pure artistry, and Logan Forsythe, he is a former Padre. He said Tony spent a lot of time with the younger guys, guiding them, coaching them, working with them. Said he has the biggest heart he has ever seen. Baseball has lost a few legends and mentors this year, Dwayne and BA. Just too soon.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. And a great tribute to Tony Gwynn. A great hitter, obviously, but just a very engaging individual to be with and around. And he's going to be missed. Caleb Joseph leading off the third. 1-1. 8 National League batting titles, a 15-time All-Star, elected to the Hall of Fame in 2007. This is Jennings settling under the fly ball, and Joseph is the first out.
Truly never had a bad day at the ballpark. And you know, you hear that said about a lot of different guys, and sometimes it rings hollow. But with Tony Gwynn, truly, every day at the baseball field, always laughing, always enjoying himself. Probably a little bit easier to do that because of those numbers you just saw. He was pretty good.
Yes, he was.
Really good, one of the best ever.
Nick Markakis. The pitch is down. You always did have the feeling that he enjoyed the game, enjoyed being at the ballpark, and you had the feeling that he just enjoyed life and his station in it.
He was coaching at San Diego State. Always helping out younger players on his team, not on his team. At the college level.
3-0. And take a look at that. The highest career average since 1945 at 338. And look at the hitters he's ahead of there. And even to be, when you talk hitting, any hitter who has any comparison with Ted Williams has accomplished more than most of us mere mortals, and in that way, on a day when he leaves us, he has attained a measure of immortality for his profession and for the kind of person he was. I recall him around the batting cage. You'd spend a little time pregame down there, and there was always this giggle, a laugh that he had, and approachable for anyone.
That is so true.
Machado tried to hold up on the high fastball. That's a strike. Machado out on strikes. Had an extended at bat in the first inning before striking out on a pitch away. Fouled back. 3 strikeouts for ODORIZZI. He got Chris Davis on a split looking, and then he got Machado to chase a pitch out of the zone, and his other strikeout to FLAHERTY was on a pitch up out of the zone.
Yeah, that fastball up, this is a lineup where that can play very well. A number of these hitters struggle with fastballs up around the letters, and they have a hard time not swinging at them in the first place. So
it's a ball and 2 strike count to Machado. Let's check in with Todd while Hannigan and ODORIZZI talk it over. Todd?
Dwayne, before the game, Davey Martinez and Tom Foley shared a great story. When they were with the Expos, then manager Buck Rogers said he can hit the ball wherever you want. So here's what we're going to do. First at bat against Oil Can Boyd, I want every fielder to run in a different direction as the pitch is coming home to kind of throw them off. Gwynn takes the pitch, starts laughing. Next pitch hits a double.
Of course. The only question coming out of that story is why haven't we seen that approach from the Rays? With all of the shifts and defensive deployments, and as cutting edge as the Rays have been, I'm surprised we haven't seen that out of them.
I'll tell you why. Because they haven't faced a hitter that was that good.
It might be a while till we see that one again.
Yeah. Oh, that is a great story.
Wow. Foul out of play. And having Oil Can Boyd, the pitcher, perfect for that defensive deployment.
Yeah, if you're going by Oil Can, it's already a mess.
Oh, my goodness. Really great. 1 on, 1 out. We're in the third. ODORIZZI ahead of Machado. And a soft liner to second. A look to first after the catch by Forsythe. Markakis back in there, and Machado's the second out of the inning.
Well, if you're trying to get a hitter and screw up his timing, get him out of rhythm, and get weak contact, checkmate right there by ODORIZZI. That swing by Machado, that ball just fluttered out to Forsythe. It was a great job of putting him away.
Now the hitter is Adam Jones. Jones fouled out to Rodriguez at first base. Sean went through the coaching box over there to make the catch. Pitch in there for a strike. His pitch count at 28 pitches in the second. Pushed it up. Great start. 14 pitches in the first. A 1-2-3 inning, and then 2 quick outs in the second for the base hit, and then the walk, and that walk was an 11 pitch at bat for David Lough. Of walks given up by ODORIZZI, 3 strikeouts. He surrendered 1 hit. Way up there. It's 1-1. That fastball way high and almost took off on Hannigan. Look at Hannigan.
Man, you may expect one up in the zone, but not there. Ryan Hannigan quick with the reflexes to get up there and corral that pitch. Last thing you need is one to go to the backstop and a runner to get in scoring position with Adam Jones up there, who's been red hot here in June.
2-1. Jones finally saw a pitch that he wouldn't swing at. I mean,
that's about how you have to walk him.
He is. Yeah,
that's right. He gets a few more of those, and he may pick up that 8th walk of the season in June.
Up again. 3 balls and a strike. Well, 2 outs. Markakis at first. 3-1 to Adam Jones. And 2 of these pitches not reachable. They were so high. Three-one. Big cut.
Well, that was a pitch that you pick your spot, you let it go. My goodness, right down the middle in a 3-1 count. Big hack.
Here's the deal. He changed the eye level with those other 2 pitches so that one right there doesn't look so good. Can't get to it.
He's smarter than all of us.
Wow. So here we go. 3-2. And it's popped to the right side again. Fair this time. And Sean Rodriguez handles that. So we'll head into the bottom of the third, 1-0. And today we say goodbye to one of the great ones in baseball, Tony Gwynn. Great player, great man.
New look for Evan Longoria. He had that mohawk on the last road trip, and now it is blonde. Jamie Edmondson, his girlfriend and fiance, set up a little salon appointment for him. Just something different for Evan Longoria. Guys, his first time up, he bats third in this inning. He hit a ball deep into left center field that bounced right in front of the new area for fans to watch games here at Tropicana Field. Basically, it's another spot where you can hang out and watch baseball, yet you're on the ground level. Not many people know about this yet. People are walking by, kind of looking at it, because in the past, this used to be blocked off. You couldn't even get close to this fence, which was a full fence. But now, you've got the wire mesh. You can watch Adam Jones just feet away from you and watch baseball. And kind of a cool shot, too, because it's from center field, so you get a good look at the pitcher and how he's sequencing pitches with the hitter. I think this is going to become another popular spot for fans to hang out, watch baseball from a unique perspective. We'll see how it goes, guys.
Well, a brand new look here at Tropicana Field and a new perspective on the game from out there, just a bit toward the left field side of center. 1-1 to count to Desmond Jennings leading off.
Have they given it a name yet? You have the porch just above it.
Yep.
Very popular.
No name yet.
Well, from our vantage point, it looks like a giant crib.
It
I'm
does.
go with the crib.
Yeah. Especially with that white fencing behind it.
Yeah. Put a little refreshment stand down there, and it will be packed.
Fly ball, center field, and Jones to his left to make this catch. And Jennings is the first out. Brings up Escobar, who gave the Rays their run tonight with a homer in the first.
Yeah. A ball that was meant to be away, it ended up middle in, and YUNEL Escobar deposited it deep into left field. The Rays had jumped out quickly, still hold that 1-0 lead.
So the fourth home run of the year for Escobar. This pitch is outside. The game tonight and all season long. Tires Plus donates $100 to the Pediatric Cancer Foundation for every Tampa Bay Rays home run televised on Sun Sports. It's in there for a strike, and the count is 1-1. Two and one. Escobar had a couple of hits in the game yesterday in Houston. An RBI double for one. And a shot deep to right. Markakis back on the track, started the field for the wall out there and made the catch 2-3 steps away from the wall. Two gone. Power the other way that time from Escobar. Not quite deep enough.
He hit that ball so well to left. He's like, let's give right a try. And you got to get it. You got to really get into it to go opposite field here at Tropicana Field.
Yeah, and you really have to get into it to get it out. Period. Here, this is, you got to hit the ball well. Any cheap home runs here? Too low to Longoria. And there was nothing cheap about the first one hit by Escobar. It was well tagged. 1-1 the count. Play 1-2 now. Two and two. And Zobrist hitting cleanup would be next if Evan could keep the inning going. play. Rays trying to pick up their first win over the Baltimore Orioles this year in the season series. They are down 5 games, 0-5 against Baltimore.
This is a team that only beat the Rays 6 times all of last year.
Yeah, Rays had a great year against them, 13-6 a year ago. Full count. The O's swept a 3-game series here in May over the Rays, and then swept what turned out to be a 2-game set because of a rainout in Baltimore. And there's ball 4. So Evan Longoria has drawn the first walk, and that's been an unusual occurrence with Chin really all year long. You have to go back to the 26th of April to find a start in which he walked more than one man. Gave up 2 walks and a no decision to Kansas City on April the 26th. It's no walks or just 1 walk in every start since then. Ben Zobrist. Ben shoots it into left, but Lowe is right there for it to make the catch, and the Rays leave 1. On to inning 4. It's 1-0 Tampa Bay. Sun Sports is brought to you by Toyota. Let's go places. By AT&T, mobilizing your world. And by Checkers. Checkers brings big flavor for a small price. Feed your craving for quality for only $1. Cha-ching. Middle of the order coming up for Baltimore, facing Jake ODORIZZI in the 4th. Jake, through 3 innings, has made 61 pitches, allowing 1 hit, a couple of walks. He's picked up 3 strikeouts. He'll have Chris Davis, Nelson Cruz, and J.J. Hardy coming up here in the 4th. Hot shot in the line drive, caught by Sean Rodriguez. Rodriguez just inside the line and deep at first, positioned perfectly.
And you wonder if that ball would have even stayed fair because of the amount of hook on it, but because of where Sean Rodriguez is playing, as you can see, as he goes up for that ball, it's going to be right over that line. Very close to it. Nice play by Sean. And there the shift gets another guy.
Now Nelson Cruz. Pitch is too low. Tonight's Cold Hard Facts brought to you by Frost Brewed Coors Light. 21 for Nelson Cruz, topping the major leagues. That's a strike. It's 1-1. One up on Encarnacion. Stanton for the Marlins has hit one, so he has caught Jose Abreu, and it's those two now tied for third.
And you remember too, they signed him late, both Nelson Cruz and Ubaldo Jimenez.
Like in the middle of the third week of February, they signed him. After they signed Jimenez. That's right.
And they got Nelson Cruz before the season started, cheaper than what the Red Sox just paid for Stephen Drew.
Yep.
How about that? I'll tell you, and it's a good thing too for the Orioles. You think about Matt Wieters and that injury and him being down as we see another foul ball. I'll tell you what, both of these pitchers can serve up some foul balls, huh?
Yes, they can. Yeah, it's a tough break for Baltimore that Wieters will have Tommy John surgery tomorrow.
But I'll tell you, with him out of there, you've seen the running game start to pick up against the Orioles. That was always something that was pretty controlled because of Wieters. Not so much this year.
Yeah, the opposition, 45 steals now. Only 13 caught stealers coming into this game.
And that's tied for third most in the American League. And there's your injury update on Matt Wieters when he was doing that average over 300.
Now the count is full to Nelson. Nelson Cruz fouled out to first. And a big cut and a miss. He's out on strikes. Strikeout number 4. Fastball, and well, you can see the power generated in that swing, the uppercut.
See how he pulls off, though. And that's one thing, you know, he usually has pretty good plate coverage. And you see he's really going to take a big swing here, trying to drive that ball out to left field in a full count. A better spot by ODORIZZI.
Strike by ODORIZZI on the pitch to Hardy. On 2. Fastball well located again. But then, you know, the other thing about Cruz to this point, leading the majors with 21 home runs, he's hit twice as many home runs on the road as he has in Baltimore. And you would think, boy, he's going to love hitting in that ballpark up there.
Yeah, that makes no sense.
High fly ball back into center. Jennings back with room. Desmond puts it away. J.J. Hardy out of there. Bottom half of inning 4 coming up. 1-0 Rays. And a hit in the bottom of the 4th inning. Now it's time for you to tweet your photo using hashtag SunSportsFanPhoto for a chance to have it shown in an upcoming game broadcast. Brought to you by AT&T. The Rays will have James Loney, then Sean Rodriguez and Logan Forsythe coming up in the 4th inning. Minnesota and Boston, top of the 5th at Fenway. Evan Correa and Ruby De La Rosa. They've each given up just 1 hit. Playing at the top of the 5th. Here we're in the bottom of the 4th. Rays have a run, 3 hits. Baltimore, no runs, 1 hit. Loney takes the pitch for a ball, facing the lefty.
You would think this would be a pretty good matchup for James Loney, who hits lefties well, and lefties hit Wei-Yin Chin well.
It's a foul ball back. Kind of interesting. We cited those numbers earlier. If you look at last year, when he was 7-7, right-handers hit 286 against him, lefties just 223. And this year, coming in, lefties 361 against him.
Huge jump.
2-1.
Well, every year, it's funny. As a pitcher, you try to identify some things that you can improve going into the next season, and opposing teams look to break down what your potential weaknesses are that they can try to exploit the next time around. Well, it's a constant chess match, and that is the challenge of sticking at the big league level, because there are no more secrets anymore. It's all out there, and you are going to need and find yourself making adjustments the rest of your career.
Well, we go to 3-2. Well, you know, that first inning situation for Chin has been interesting through the years he's been in the Baltimore rotation, and the same way it's gone from not so good to really pretty good. And you know, he's been back and forth now 3 years. That ball is going to be a fair ball up the left field line. Lowe's going to make the pickup. Loney's going to go for 2, and he arrives ahead of the throw. Leadoff double for Loney, his 17th two-base hit of the year, and just like that, the Rays have an instant scoring threat.
Now, this is why James Loney is so effective, not only against lefties, but against anybody. Hitting the ball everywhere. Deep count here. This ball, middle of the plate, up. Look at him just see it for a long time, let that ball get into the zone, and then explode on it, shoot it down the left field line. And an immediate threat here for the Rays. Runner on second, nobody out. These are the runs you've got to get in. Somehow, get them over, get them in.
Yep, Sean Rodriguez up here now with a great opportunity. Chin calling Joseph out to have a conversation. When Chin first came to the Orioles, he had early troubles. First inning of his games in 2012, he had a .591 earned run average. It improved last year. There's a bunt foul back into the screen. Swung around to be effective in the first part of games last year. Good ERA. Trouble later. Here he gave up the long home run to Escobar in the first tonight. Rays have had runners in each inning and a scoring opportunity now with a leadoff double in the 4th. Bunt third base side. Machado with the pickup out at first, and over to third goes Loney.
Yeah, and I like that bunt there by Sean Rodriguez and where he put it down. You bunt that ball hard or harder up the third base side. You force the third baseman to have to field it. And there is nobody there to cover. You're going to get the runner to third. Watch Machado coming in. That gives James Loney free rein to ease into third as the Orioles take the out at first. Sometimes you try to pop that bunt, and if you push it up the right side and Baltimore's expecting it, that first baseman charging can get to that ball, especially if he's a lefty, and hose that runner at third. You bunt to the third baseman. Nobody there.
Now Forsythe with a chance to pick up the RBI. First pitch is a strike around the knees. We have Flaherty at second, Davis at first, up on the right side. Machado not quite even with the bag at third, and Hardy in, but a couple steps back from that line. Straight line second to third.
And they don't have to come all the way in because James Loney's not a burner. They can give themselves an extra split second.
Pitch popped into shallow center. Here comes Jones after it. He will make the catch, and Loney nothing to do but hold at third.
Well, we said after the double, get him over, get him in. You got the get him over part right, but now you got to get him in, and that pop-up is not going to get it done. So now it'll take a 2-out hit.
Ryan Hannigan lifted a fly ball to center his first time. Up here, it'll take a 2-out hit now. This pitch is a strike, a fastball. Got a home run from Escobar in the first, then Longoria followed with a double. They left him on. Forsythe singled in the second. He was left on. Same thing, Longoria in the third after a walk. Now Loney's at third. 2 outs here in the fourth inning after beginning the inning with a double. 1-1. Rays don't want to miss this chance after the leadoff 2-base hit. 2 balls and a strike. Kevin Kiermaier's on deck. And his left-handed bat out of the 9th spot tonight. Wei-Yin Chen, the lefty on the hill, 28 years old, out of Taiwan. He'll be 29 in July. And he's now even with Hannigan at 2 balls, 2 strikes.
I'll tell you, he's got a real good feel for pitching too. Yeah, none of his stuff is eye-popping, but he's got a good assortment of pitches. He knows how to use them. He works the entire strike zone.
Yeah, and he's been on a good run. He's given up, including the run tonight on the homer, just 2 runs in his last 15 innings. Time granted by Lance Barrett. The 2-2, foul back. Hannigan battling up there, still alive, earning another pitch. 3. Pitch stayed wide.
He tried to make the perfect pitch, a little backdoor breaking ball. And ball started off the plate. It stayed off the plate. And this should give Ryan Hannigan an opportunity.
Two outs, Loney third, the 3-2 to Hannigan. The pitch made, and a long one to left. That's got some carry, and is gone. Home run, Ryan Hannigan. And the Rays add to their
lead. Well, there's your 2-out hit. It took a few pitches, but Ryan Hannigan got a breaking ball that hung right out over the plate. Boy, he got into that one pretty good, and he knew it. This bat right here tells you he knows that's going to be good for 2 runs.
Hannigan's 4th home run of the year, a big 2-out home run, 3-0 Rays. There's Kiermaier, and he takes the pitch outside. 2nd home run of the night for the Rays. The 11th given up by Chen this year. Look out, a shot deflecting off Chen's glove to short. Throw to first is in time to get Kiermaier. Chen got his glove up there and deflected it to Hardy at shortstop. Kiermaier's out of there, but the Rays get 2 on a double by Loney and a home run by Hannigan. 3-0 Tampa Bay. To the first 4. On to the 5th inning we go. Our Toyota trend finds Jake ODORIZZI now through the first 13 starts of the season, and he's starting to move in the right direction. That's a nice little trend he's showing.
Well, how about that? He lowers that ERA dramatically, the opponent's average, everything. And his last start was his best. We've seen him pretty good here again tonight. He got 4 shutout innings and now working with a 3-run lead.
David Lowe, after the first one, lofts it toward the line and left. Zobrist after it, and he's not going to get there. Then making a sliding effort down near the bullpen.
Well, I thought that ball off the bat. Ben Zobrist had a really good shot to make that play. And you'll see right here, got to come from a long way. And just not able to reach it.
Curveball in there for a strike. Some 70 with that one. Cut to miss. Oh, how about that? A nice curveball, then to change that split to strike out low. That was a good one.
That wasn't even fair. You see the grip. Watch the finish. That's a thing of beauty. That at bat, that sequencing right there was great.
Yeah, you see that. That's tremendous progress. It really gets you excited about the young pitcher's prospects. A little tap back to the hill from Flaherty, and him out in front.
Yeah, another off-speed pitch, and that's what we talk about. I have all these pitches that you're trying to work together: the fastball, and then the curveball. Then you go with the changeup, just constantly forcing hitters to try to make adjustments from pitch to pitch. You're not staying in the same area of the plate. You're not staying with the same pitch.
Boy, this could be a nice recovery for him if he could finish off this inning and have a quick inning. He's got 2 outs here on 4 pitches, so he's up to 78 pitches. 2 outs into the 5th. There's a strike on the outside corner. He had the 28 pitch second inning, and most of that came with 2 outs. They ran the pitch count up a bit. Long one to center field. Jennings back near the track makes the catch. 1, 2, 3, and it is a quick inning. Bottom of the 5th coming. 3-0 Rays. Rays lead this game 3-0. A long home run in the first inning. YUNEL ESCOBAR got the scoring started when he connected on a 2-1 pitch. Then Ryan Hannigan on a 3-2 delivery belted that one into the seats and left in the 4th with James Loney aboard. Jake ODORIZZI's taking care of the rest.
Boy, he really has. Just given him 1 hit so far, and he's been very good again. Much like last start with all of his pitches, and he's moving the ball around the zone, he's changing speeds, and he's taking advantage of a very aggressive lineup through 5 innings.
Top of the order for the Rays against Wei-Yin Chen in the 5th inning. Desmond Jennings. Chucked it away. ODORIZZI with a 6-pitch top half of the inning, so 80 pitches for ODORIZZI through 5. Two balls, no strikes. 3-0. Escobar on deck. This is the 9th consecutive start for Jennings in the leadoff spot. 3-1. The Rays would like to see him work out in that spot. This one's headed toward the corner. One hop and a 2-base hit for Jennings.
Well, there was a little bit of a challenge, I think, issued by Joe Maddon to Desmond Jennings, putting him up in that leadoff spot, keeping him there, because you're right, a productive Desmond Jennings makes this offense much more dynamic. He had the count in his favor here. He hammers this down into the corner, and the Rays with another great opportunity to pad this lead.
You know, that's 6 hits they've collected off Chin. 5 have been for extra bases now, 2 homers, and this is the 3rd double.
We said early on, you've got a pitcher out there that's going to be around the zone. You have to take advantage of the misses over the plate, and overall the Rays have done that.
So another leadoff 2-base hit. Here's Escobar. Hot shot to short, comes up on Hardy, recovers, and the throw to first is in time.
I thought that ball, when it bounded away, that play was going to be at least closer than that. But that ball got out to Hardy quick, and he recovered.
The Gold Glove shortstop. This ball hit hard.
Yep, sure was. And that is what allowed him to make that play. He gets out there so fast. Let's see Escobar coming out of the box. Not coming out of the box early, and that cost him at the end.
And that's something that does happen from time to time with him.
There was a little bit of an issue yesterday in what should have been probably a triple on a ball hit out to center field. A dive by Dexter Fowler. The ball gets by him to the wall and only ended up at second base.
One strike the count to Evan Longoria. Strike on the outside edge. 0-2. Up the right side. That ball will drop foul. Well, there was another run, and that ball been a couple feet to the left.
It probably would have traded places.
Evans already doubled back into center field tonight in the first inning. Walked in the third.
Yeah, and you get the feeling that he's seeing the ball well. Not only the hit, but that walk. You know, a guy that doesn't walk a whole lot of hitters, always around the zone, able to take close pitches. In the hole here.
Fly ball back into deep left. Lowe goes all the way to the track, feeling for the wall, making the catch. The tag at second. Jennings heads to third and moves over there, and Longoria on an 0-2 pitch gave that one a pretty good ride.
Yeah, and I did not think that he got that ball as well as the distance would say. It looked like a pop-up. This ball way high in the air. But look at the carry that Longoria gets. He does get the barrel to the baseball.
And I'll tell you, that's one thing, and we've noticed it his entire career. When he first came up, when he starts to go well, he gets tremendous carry on balls that you think, well, maybe they're a deep fly ball. They go out. So that might be a good sign.
Well, you know, he's got those hands up high when he stands in the box. He's, you know, erect in there, standing tall, and when those hands come down and through the hitting zone to the baseball, yeah, you catch that backside and get that reverse spin, and that ball it will carry well. There it is. Go World Cup. Hey, by the way, 2-1 USA.
U.S. over Ghana.
That's right.
That's a final. And to short right off the bat of Zobrist, caught by Markakis, and the Rays leave Jennings at third base. 3-0 Rays through 5. Sixth inning, the Rays' wives will host the Rays on the Runway, benefiting the Children's Dream Fund. That's June 25th. Players and coaches are paired with their significant other or child from the Children's Dream Fund to walk the runway and model this season's newest fashions. Get your tickets at www.childrensdreamfund.org. Top of the order here in the sixth inning, Nick Markakis. Ball, no strikes. Markakis, Machado, Jones due up in the sixth inning. One and one. One. Rizzi falling behind Markakis to open the sixth inning. Walked once already tonight. Oh, he takes a big rip. 3-2.
Now they want to swing again. Where was the pitch at? Elevated fastball. Just can't quite catch up to it. That's a pitch that can work very well. It has worked very well, but especially against this lineup.
Fly ball deep to left. Zobrist will go back to the wall, and that's going to be over his head off the wall. Comes down to his glove side as he picks it up. It's a double for Markakis. 13th double of the year for Markakis.
Well, a good adjustment made there by Markakis. He gets a similar pitch in a similar spot, but it's away from him. A little bit easier to get to that one. And he put a pretty good amount of carry on it. Ben Zobrist's eyes on the prize, trying to get back there and not going to get up high enough. And a little bit twisted and didn't really get the most out of his jump.
So the leadoff man on base First time the Orioles have had the leadoff man on in this game. Pitch up and in to Manny Machado. A ball and no strikes.
Well, we've seen a number of those tonight from Jake Odorizzi. Overall has been very much in control. But some of those fastballs up in the zone have gotten away from him. And in turn, Ryan Hannigan has made a few visits out there to try to get him back in line. And it's worked.
Boxberger up in the Rays bullpen. 1-0 the count to Machado. High again. 2-0. Jim Hickey's going to make a trip to the mound. Odorizzi missing up and falling behind Machado.
Well, twofold. You try to get Jake back in good tempo, good rhythm towards the plate, get the ball back down in the zone, and you give Boxberger time to get himself ready.
Rays with a 3-run lead here in the 6th inning. Take a look at tomorrow's starters presented by Chevron in the middle game of this series. Miguel Gonzalez due to come off the DL and start that game for Baltimore, and Eric Bedard, the former Oriole, will pitch for the Rays. He's after his 4th win of the year as well. Both pitchers 3-4 on the season. We'll be with you at 6:30 tomorrow, beginning our coverage on Sun Sports. 2-0, and that's skied to left. Zobrist waiting for this one to come down, making the catch. A tag, but no attempt to move by Markakis. One away.
That was an angry throw by Ben Zobrist. I'd say that was a nice job too by Odorizzi to retire Manny Machado, who is not nearly having the same offensive year as he had last year. Of course, coming off that injury that occurred here at Tropicana Field. It makes for a long offseason of rehab. Finally back, but not quite as productive as the Rays saw him last year.
And now Adam Jones. He has had a very good month of June. Came into this game hitting well over 360 for the month. And that's a strike. Tried to check on the appeal down to first. Ron Culpa says that is a swing, and boy, it was indeed.
Yeah, if he
hit a line drive off that.
That's a double.
It's fouled out to first and popped out to first. Sean Rodriguez handling both those pop-ups. 0-2, fouling a fastball back.
Another guy you can climb the ladder on. You saw that pitch was up near the top of the zone, fouled it back. You can go up a little bit higher than that. We've already chronicled the fact that from at-bat to at-bat, he will swing the bat. He doesn't like to walk. He doesn't walk very often. And you're in a perfect count here to put him away. 0-2, expand.
And he does. He goes way up. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Chris Davis on deck. But the focus right now is on Adam Jones. Yeah, there's no looking at the on-deck circle with this lineup. It's the guy in the batter's box you have to focus on. And a long one back into deep left field, and that one will get out of here. 1-2. He got up there on the fastball that time and hits it out. His 12th home run of the year, and suddenly it's a 1-run ball game.
That's the scary thing about this lineup. They play for the big inning. They don't do a lot of running. They don't do a lot of walking. They do hit some home runs. He wants that ball away, and that ball was middle up.
Jones already hot for the month. That just hit his 6th home run of the month, his 12th overall on the season. 3-2 the score, and we have a pitching change coming. By Volkswagen. ODORIZZI working 5 1/3, 93 pitches, giving up 2 on the home run off the bat of Adam Jones. And I'll tell you, and you made the point, Jones got on top of that pitch, and that location for him normally is not a bad location.
Not at all. I'm really shocked that he got to that. You know, Adam Jones, he likes to get those arms extended, likes the ball a little bit further down in the zone. In fact, you know, if you even look at his hot zones, you know, the middle of the plate, middle up, middle in is a pitch that he struggles with. Not there. I mean, I know that Jake missed his spot there, but that typically is a spot against Adam Jones that pitchers have the advantage.
Yeah, he hits under 190 up there.
Yeah, and as you get it closer to him, it starts to plummet even further. All of his damage is done across the zone from thighs to knees.
But he got that one out. Now Brad Boxberger in here. Facing Chris Davis. Now 1-2. Boxberger just gets quicker and quicker, and when that last pitch was 95, you're going to be pretty quick.
Yep, and it's up, 95 up. Really impressed with what Boxberger brings to this Rays bullpen.
Davis taking a big cut. Almost every cut with him is a big one.
Yeah, he does not have much of a two-strike approach. See the season numbers, the strikeouts to the innings. Impressive. Well, I think it was against Baltimore when he came in with the bases loaded and threw the immaculate inning.
Yeah,
in that situation.
He strikes out Davis. Fastball. He got strike 2 on the pitch up at 95. He struck him out there at 94.
Well, and Chris Davis tries to make the adjustment here to get on top of it, quicken up the swing a little bit, still can't do it. See, the hands come, they start high, they come down low, and they can't get back up to that pitch.
Yeah, there's not a lot of time for movement if you're a hitter on his stuff up there, 94, 95.
No, they've got to stay high and come directly to the baseball. You see as he starts his stride, those hands start to drop. Once that happens, tough to climb back up.
Nelson Cruz chops it to Escobar. Throw to first. Got him. That'll retire the side. 2 runs on the Jones home run. 3-2 ball game, Rays. moving into the bottom of the 6th inning, facing the left-hander Wei-Yin Chen. As promised earlier in the game, we have the AT&T fan photo of the game. Tweet your photo to hashtag Sun Sports Fan Photo for a chance to be shown in an upcoming game broadcast brought to you by AT&T. Well, we saw this new look from Evan Longoria earlier in the evening. And where could the inspiration be from that?
You know what? I'll tell you what the inspiration was. Evan obviously looks a million times better, but that photo right there is what made me decide to just go ahead and take it off. It looks like a divot, a golf divot sitting up there. That's ridiculous. Someone got a little chunky with the 7-iron, and they're wearing it as their hair.
Replace your divot.
Well, yeah.
One strike the count to James Loney facing Chen. Pitch got in on him, and a line drive softly hit to Flaherty, the second baseman. Just a variation on a theme for Evan Longoria there.
The World Cup deal. Yeah.
A little lighter side.
A lighter side. I like that. I'm telling you. Why not? I just wish you'd have kept the beard to go with it. That would have been a contrast.
Sean Rodriguez. Sean 0 for 1. Sacrificed in the 4th inning. Runners in scoring position tonight. Baltimore 1 out of 3. That was the home run by Jones, and for the Rays 1 of 7, the home run by Hannigan.
By the way, that picture came in the team trading cards that they gave away.
It did.
So that
was my favorite one in the entire pack.
Well, I mean, how does that make the cut? Obviously, whoever's putting, the final touches on that group of cards was not a big fan of me, if that's what they went with. Because I look like a moron.
You'd never look like a moron.
Oh, well, you throw it back up, and I'll beg to differ. There it is.
There you go.
I mean, give me a break. That's embarrassing.
A little bewildered, but not a moron.
I was still trying to find out what the title of my job was.
Strike 3 call. Sean Rodriguez not happy with that call at all. With the second out, Sean shakes his head, walking away.
Yeah, don't blame him. Change up, way down.
Wow. Yeah, Sean thinks that's a great take right there. Ball, no strikes to Logan Forsythe. Gotta be kidding me, is what he said.
Twice.
Yeah.
I agree.
No strike on the outside part of the plate. Both bullpens busy. Saw Peralta for the Rays up the right side. Stinson. Baltimore, there's a fly ball to right. Kikis makes the catch. And so the Rays go down 1-2-3. We move into the 7th. 3-2 Tampa Bay. Sun Sports is brought to you by Tradewinds Highland Resorts. So many ways to just let go on St. Pete Beach. We're at Tropicana Field tonight, beginning this 3-game series with Baltimore. First of a 10-game homestand for the Rays. Baltimore in for 3, Houston then for 4, followed by the Pittsburgh Pirates. And Joel Peralta will be the new pitcher in the 7th for the Rays, facing J.J. Hardy to lead off the inning. Peralta making his 33rd appearance of the year. Brad Boxberger came on, got the final 2 outs in the 6th. And now it's Peralta. Is a strike on the outside part of the plate. Hardy had a base hit to shortstop back in the 2nd inning. Escobar made a great effort going deep into the hole after that ground ball and a strong throw to first, but Hardy beat the play. It's 1-1. Shoots the outside part of the plate, but misses with a fastball. Now it's 2 balls and a strike. David Lowe on deck. Into right field, past Rodriguez. Kiermaier in front of it. Hardy's aboard with the leadoff single in the 7th inning. Let's check in with Todd quickly. Todd?
Dwayne, we have a brand new giveaway item coming up on Sunday. It is the Ben Zobrist plastic bat and ball presented by Dex Imaging. And it's legit. You got the bat right here and then the ball. I think there's going to be a lot of impromptu wiffle ball games going on here at Sunday at Tropicana Field. That'll be coming up this weekend, Sunday. Ben Zobrist plastic bat and ball. First 10,000 kids 14 and under, courtesy of Dex Imaging. Go to RaysBaseball.com or call 888-FAN-RAYS. Guys?
All right, there'll be a lot going on this weekend, and that will cap it in terms of the promotional items for the weekend.
We may get a game going up here in the booth.
A little friendly competition. Yeah.
We'll flip a coin for the first pick, and then it'll come down to either Rick Odioso or Chris Garcia.
Right. And let him go. Just sit back and watch him.
No. We're the captains.
Yeah. 1 strike to count here on David Lowe. Well, Rick has that big, majestic swing. And, Chris, you know, hits those hard line drives that just keep going.
He's gritty. Uses he hits the ball the other way.
Line drives to all fields. Hardy's the runner at first. Lowe had an extended at bat in the 2nd against ODORIZZI. 11 pitches and he drew a walk. Struck out on 3 pitches then in the 5th. One extreme to the other. Now he bunts. Rodriguez with a pickup, and covering first base is Forsythe. So they move Hardy up to 2nd on the sacrifice.
You talk about trust in your teammate. You know, a right side of the infield that we don't see very often from the Rays with Sean at first and Forsythe at 2nd at the same time. But this bunt right here, watch Sean Rodriguez come in, field this spin and throw so quickly. Watch this. He knows Forsythe's going to be there. Just field throw. That barely catches him before he makes that feed. It was well done.
So now it's Hardy in scoring position at second, and Ryan Flaherty, who has struck out and gone out pitcher first, about to step in. Flaherty's had 3 career at bats against Peralta, 1 for 3 off him. Now he bunts, third base side, going to be fouled and out of the reach of Longoria.
Well, I think what Flaherty was seeing there is with the shift on, Evan Longoria over there by himself, he's just trying to punch bunt that ball to the left side and steal a base hit, and maybe in the process move Hardy up depending on where he bunts this thing. You see, look at the defense for the Rays. One guy over there, but he almost popped it up enough that Evan could make a play on it.
So Peralta gets out in front of him with the bunt attempt foul. One ball, 1 strike. ODORIZZI worked 5 1/3, gave up 2 runs, 3 hits tonight.
Hey, you've got to be sure of your research when you run the shift like this, because if Flaherty
run at second,
yeah, I mean if he's at all capable of punching the ball the other way, this is a tie game. They're giving him that base hit. I mean, Evans playing over there, but for the most part daring him to do that, and that would effectively tie this game up.
Inside. 2 balls and a strike. After these, 2-2.
Another ball down in the zone, called a strike. Right there, borderline pitch goes Peralta's way, and now puts him in a situation where he can try to put Flaherty away with a split below the zone, maybe get a swing, especially coming off that pitch right there. Flaherty be more apt to chase that pitch, trying to protect.
It's 2-2, and Flaherty takes ball 3. Fastball down. The count runs all the way. 3-2. Catcher's spot is due next. Caleb Joseph. Now on a 3-2 matchup, it's Flaherty and Peralta. Got him. Oh, he went split. 3-2. Swung right over it and missed it.
Well, that was the pitch you wanted to see. One pitch previously, after that fastball down in the zone was called a strike, you knew if you were able to get that split anywhere near, that Flaherty would open up that zone, and that's exactly what he did. Strikeout.
2 gone. And now Joseph. Twice he's hit the ball to center field, caught by Jennings each time. Pretty close there with a breaking ball. You can see Hannigan setting up outside, down and away. as close as you can be without it actually being a strike. The breaking pitch. 2 balls, no strikes. That's a strike. 2-0 fastball away from him on the edge. Peralta pitched 1 inning on Friday night in Houston and struck out the side. And the count now breaks even. 2-2. That's what's coming up tomorrow on Rays Live, the pregame show presented by your Gulf Coast Honda dealers. Evan Longoria leads reading with the Rays, and Eric Bedard faces his former team, the Baltimore Orioles, in the middle game of this series.
Tell you what, Caleb Joseph may regret missing that last pitch. 2-1 fastball that was right down the middle that he fouled off. Now 2-2. So these 2-2 counts, these even counts, Peralta, the man with the advantage.
2-2, and he got him, boy. Came right back with the split. He got Flaherty 3-2 on the split. He gets Joseph 2-2 on the split. And the Orioles leave a man at second base. 7th inning stretch time. 3-2 Rays. Rays flex packs have been a hit with fans across Tampa Bay. Score one for yourself and choose any 3, 6, or 9 games you want to attend throughout the entire season at great savings and receive members-only rewards. To purchase your flex pack, call 888-FAN-RAYS or visit raysbaseball.com/flex. Peralta with a couple strikeouts in the 7th inning, utilizing the split to take care of the last 2 hitters. We go to the 7th. Rays half of the inning, and Ryan Hannigan leads off against Wei-Yin Chen. Which is a strike, and right now the 2-run home run by Hannigan in the 4th inning, providing the Rays margin for this 3-2 lead.
That came on a full count. Other than that, Wei-Yin Chen has been very good, has allowed his offense an opportunity to try to climb back in this game, which they've done at now 3-2.
See Grant Balfour busy in the Rays bullpen. Darren O'Day and Josh Stinson busy for Baltimore.
Well, you're starting to see how this lineup lines up. Obviously, next half inning, the Baltimore Orioles will send the top of their order. When you see the big power, you start looking at Chris Davis, Nelson Cruz hitting 4th and 5th. And for the Rays' sake, you hope that that's what's coming up in the 9th. You may see McGee again.
Fly ball, short left this time, tied him up a bit with that fastball. The Hannigan's the first out in the 7th inning. Get Kevin Kiermaier into the plate. Kiermaier 0 for 2 so far in the game. Kiermaier is lined to center and put a hot ground ball back to the mound that was deflected to the shortstop. Already threw him out. Throw ball is in there this time for a strike. Fouled and off the mask of Joseph. 0-2. Kiermaier out on strikes.
Well, that was a guy out on the mound that knows what he's doing, taking advantage of a young hitter. A couple of breaking balls to slow things down and then pop that fastball right by him.
Well, Desmond Jennings is due up, and Buck Showalter is going to go to the bullpen for a pitcher to face the top of the order. We'll be back with the right-hander in a moment. Game 3-2 in the bottom of the 7th inning. Catch every strikeout, every game ender, and every history-making moment on MLB Whip Around. Weeknights at 10 p.m. Eastern on Fox Sports 1 and streaming live on Fox Sports Go. Wei-Yin Chen departs after 6 2/3. 106 pitches for the Baltimore lefty. 3 runs, 6 hits. And he gives way to Darren O'Day. 2 outs, bases empty, and Jennings against O'Day. Really gone from one to the other here. The lefty out of the game, and now the extreme right-hander, Darren O'Day. 30th appearance for O'Day. Base hit up the middle. Jennings collects his second hit, a 2-out single.
Nice job by Desmond to stay in on the extreme arm slot of Darren O'Day and just rifle this ball right back up the middle. And speaking of balls getting rifled, I would encourage everybody at some point tonight to try to take a look at the home run that Giancarlo Stanton hit tonight off former Ray Jason Hamill down at Miami. Hanging breaking ball.
Yes.
He hit an opposite field line drive home run. I'm telling you, this ball didn't get more than 12 feet off the ground.
Wow.
Wait till you see it. I mean, it looks like a line drive the other way for a single, and it just keeps amazing. Back to action.
Thanks for that report.
Yes, it was that good.
Stay with us. More later.
Breaking news.
Jennings at first. 2 gone. Now YUNEL ESCOBAR. Popped up. Short right center. And Jones in front of Markakis takes care of it. We're headed into the 8th. It's 3-2 Tampa Bay. Our Chevy game summary finds the Rays leading by a count of 3-2 and moving this game into the 8th inning. Rays have hit a couple home runs, one off the bat of YUNEL ESCOBAR and a 2-run blast by Ryan Hannigan. Adam Jones homered with a man on in the 6th inning, so the Hannigan home run providing the Rays with their lead right now. As we go to the 8th, Grant Balfour becomes the 4th Rays pitcher, and he'll face the top of the order here for Baltimore.
Well, this is where it gets challenging. A lot of power lot of potential problems up here at the top of the order, and the Rays will call on Grant here in the 8th. And here we go.
A base hit off the first pitch fastball. Markakis wasting little time. Swings at the first pitch and is on for the 3rd time tonight.
Well, and you got to believe that Grant Balfour with some extra added incentive. You know, with the Rays being 0-5 against the Orioles coming into play today, he's not had the opportunity to pitch against the team that he thought he was going to be signing with. Not the start he was hoping for.
They face Manny Machado. Pitch is down. 1 ball, no strikes. Only natural to have some added incentive. He thought he was signed with this club, and they backed out of it.
Yeah, failed his physical.
Foul the other way. The count is 1-1. Wednesday game against the Cardinals, end of line drive to center field, and the Orioles have put the first 2 men on. Machado took the slider right back into center, so a base hit from Markakis on the fastball, and Machado has a single.
Well, nice job by Manny Machado here, staying out and through that pitch. That ball working its way to the outside corner, but look at him lean out there, get good coverage with the swing, and go right back up the middle. That was well done.
So with 2 men on, nobody out, Adam Jones due up as Jake McGee warms in the bullpen.
Boy, and you think that the way this inning has gone right now, Chris Davis, Joe Madden, Jake McGee, that's his guy for the big strikeouts.
Jones hit the 2-run home run off ODORIZZI. A high fastball out in the 6th inning to make it a 1-run ball game. Pitch down and away. There's that home run pitch.
Boy, still surprised that he was able to get to that. Mislocation or not, that ball middle of the plate, middle in and up. And it's usually not his juice zone.
Two balls, no strikes. Grant struck out Jones 3 times in their 10 matchups. Jones 1 for 10 against Balfour. It's 3-0.
And not easy to get to that count against Adam Jones.
Chronicled the idea that he wants to swing the bat and not walk.
Yeah, he did a nice job laying off those first 2 sliders that were pretty close pitches. And he's looking for 1 pitch in 1 spot right now.
And the fastball he takes for a strike. 3-1.
Good fastball to the outside corner, well placed. Not out of the woods yet.
The tapper foul. The feet there of Hannigan. 3-1 slider.
Yeah, and that got him out in front, too. He was a little bit too quick, that ball off the end of the bat, and now Grant got a couple options here he can go with. And I think you got a guy here that you're going to have to miss the zone by a wide margin for him not to swing here.
Markakis on second, Machado at first. We're in the 8th. 3-2. He fouls it back. Came back with another slider. 3-2. Odorizzi worked 5 1/3. Boxberger 2/3. Peralta 1 inning. And now Balfour in the game. Gets the ball back to the infield hurriedly. Markakis had gone back and then decided to hang on at second. So they get Jones on the liner into right. Chris Davis is due up. Joe Maddon's out to make the pitching change with the left-hander Jake McGee about to enter this game. We'll be back in a moment. Second and 1 out after retiring Jones. Markakis and Machado had opened with base hits, and now with the left-handed bat of Chris Davis to Jake McGee gets the call.
Well, Jake McGee, obviously the powerful fastball we all know that he brings. He's also very adept at being able to pitch up in the zone, and that's where you can really tie up Chris Davis. That fastball, and especially at Jake's velocity up. And I think that's what Joe Maddon is banking on right here in this matchup.
Davis 0 for 3 on the night. A couple of strikeouts in those 3 at-bats. And McGee's first pitch, a high fastball in at 97. 1 ball, no strikes. That's a strike. 1-1. Jake closed out the game yesterday in Houston. 2-1. High heat at 98.
You know, Jake McGee talked about closing that game out yesterday and the added adrenaline. You know, you mentioned earlier he ended that game with a 100-mile-an-hour fastball, and you better believe he's got adrenaline here facing Davis, who's hit a home run off of him. You got a runner in scoring position. It's a one-run game, 8th inning or not.
Pretty close there.
Big pitch, too, because this is the difference between 2-2 and 3-1. By the look of things, it looked like Myron may have gotten it right.
Called the first one a ball that was up. And did he go? It's going to be ball 4, apparently.
Well, I tell you, I thought you could have at least got a check out of that.
One would think.
Yeah. I mean, that ball may have been off the plate, but let's take a look. Well, he did not go, but you would have thought someone would have looked.
Bases loaded now with 1 out in the 8th. And the hitter is Nelson Cruz, the Major League's home run leader and RBI leader. He's 0 for 3 tonight. That's a strike.
A good fastball here by Jake Nelson Cruz. Wants to get those arms extended. First pitch in and get the jump.
Cruz 1 of 2 in his career against Jake McGee. And a high chop to third. No place to go with that one, and the run scores. That's going to tie the game. A base hit, an infield hit for Cruz on that high chopper. All Longoria could do was wait for that ball and then try to find some place to go. There was no place to make a play.
How many choppers have we seen in the last little while here at Tropicana Field? For that ball with so much height, there's just no play to be made. Chris Davis was in at second. Nelson Cruz was hustling up the line. There's no play at home.
The RBI for Cruz makes it a 3-3 ball game. Now Hardy, that's a strike.
You know, here's the thing too, you wonder with all these choppers that have been hit here, did that ball hit off the plate? Did it hit the dirt in front of the plate? Because we've seen a number of those.
Well, if they're all hitting the plate, that's unusual that all of them would hit the plate like that.
Right,
I mean,
right.
You have to think it's hard dirt out there in the front of the plate.
I just don't remember. I don't remember that many. Well, that didn't look like it got beside the plate, but I don't remember this many choppers in such a short period of time. I mean, you're going to get them here and there, but boy, there's been a number in this stretch at home, even with the 3 games in Houston.
Foul the other way out of play.
Well, J.J. Hardy right here is going to try to shorten up that swing and just punch the ball, kind of like he did against Peralta, and shot that ball the other way.
He's had a couple hits tonight.
And Jake doesn't have that breaking ball, that wipeout breaking ball. You know, he could always come with that curveball that he will feature now, but most of the time it's the straight hard stuff, and that's why Hardy, you would expect him to cut down that swing and just try to pop that ball into the field somewhere.
Oh, whoa. Down and away, and Hannigan reaching out there across to corral that one.
Yeah, he's already sitting up far off the plate, and Jake McGee, who's got pretty good command. And that ball wildly outside of the body of Hannigan, and at 98, no less.
You're not anticipating that.
No.
Now the 1-2. What a foul ball back. Boy, that was in there at 98, just challenging Hardy. Trying to wade into that 98 fastball. Fouls it back. David Lowe on deck. Hardy the man to get right now. Each team 3 runs, 7 hits. We're in the top of the 8th. Baltimore with the bases loaded. Swing and a miss. He got him on the fastball away. Out number 2.
Now J.J. Hardy went way out of the zone there. No chance to get that pitch. Now strike at the top of the zone. See how he's continually working away and up. Now he fouls one off. Just badly on that one. Go right back up, out, and away. Even further. Big strikeout there, because this matchup, at least on paper, is going to favor Jake McGee. Almost every matchup with Jake McGee is favored. Ryan Hannigan.
Yeah, he's after a sturdier mitt. There's a new mitt out there, and it will be Steve Pearce to pinch hit for Lowe. David Lowe lifted. He had put down a sacrifice his last time, and here's Pearce. Here's 1 of 2 off Jake McGee, and that hit a home run. Foul back, strike 1.
He'll have to get it started just a little bit sooner. 98. Boy, that's tough. Coming off the bench after sitting there and watching this game into the 8th inning, and then you come in and you're seeing in the upper echelon the hardest fastball that you may see all year. 98, 99 in that range, and that's where Jake McGee is going to live in this at bat. Steve Pearce, a good fastball hitter.
Down. It's now 1-1. McGee, the 5th pitcher for the Rays. 2 is down, now 2-1. Markakis opened this inning with a single. He has scored the tying run. The run charged to Balfour. Machado's at 3rd. Davis on 2nd. Cruz at 1st. The 2-1 pitch. Shot toward the corner and left. That's a foul ball. Just foul. And the count will go to 2-2. Pearce just missing an extra base hit.
Wow. Boy, he shot this ball down the line. You wonder if he hit it so hard he's going to hit right through the hook, but you can see that he did not. Ooh. Foot and a half.
So back he comes with 2 outs. Bases full of Baltimore base runners. The count to Pearce now stands at 2 balls, 2 strikes. He entered this game with 2 men on and 1 out. He walked Davis. Cruz got the infield chop that got the run home. Hardy struck out. 2-2 to Pierce. And a broken bat roller to short. Escobar shuffles the toss to Forsythe for the force. 1 run for Baltimore, and we go to the bottom of the 8th. We're tied 3-3. Ball's best gather in Minnesota as the captain Derek Jeter takes the field in his last All-Star game ever in what promises to be an emotional and unforgettable night. Special coverage begins at 4:30 on Fox Sports 1, followed by the 2014 All-Star game at 7:30 on Fox. Steve Pierce remains in the game to play left field after pinch hitting for Lowe. And we go to the bottom of the 8th inning. Evan Longoria is going to lead off, followed by Ben Zobrist and James Loney. Darren O'Day on the mound. And that's a strike on the outside part of the plate.
We've seen those balls down in the zone as this game has moved along, being called more and more frequently.
It's upstairs. 1-1. O'Day in the 7th inning gave up the base hit to Jennings and then got Escobar on a fly ball to center. It's off the plate end. 2-1 the count on Longoria. It's wide. 3 balls and a strike. Evan with 2 career hits and 10 at-bats against O'Day. Those 2 hits doubles. He has walked 3 times against him. And make that 4. Leadoff walk. Longoria heads to first. And we'll get Ben Zobrist up there. Against O'Day, he is 4 out of 8 against the right-hander. And one of those hits a double.
Now he just needs to make sure that he sees that ball up in the zone. What O'Day is going to want to do is, with that arm angle, sink that ball away from him. This is a team that's turned the most double plays in Major League Baseball. And that's what they'll be looking for here.
Cut and a miss, strike one. That's Brian Mattis down in the bullpen. Tries to bunt and bunts it foul. So he's down 2 strikes.
Boy, another way to try to stay away from the potential double play, to bunt a man into scoring position here with nobody out.
Well, he has Loney on deck. He's not a bad man to have with a man in scoring position.
Oh, and even if you do bring Brian Mattis in to face James Loney, righty lefty, really doesn't matter.
Leadoff walk, and the Rays trying to make something of it. Zobrist strikes out. That's exactly what O'Day wanted. Out number 1. And still at first, Longoria.
Watch where this pitch is. 0-2 count, and go ahead and keep it off the plate. And that's where you get Ben Zobrist trying to reach for this ball.
So here's James Loney.
James Loney has a little bit of room to work with. You've got J.J. Hardy playing him more up the middle. So that's sinker away. Just shoot it away.
Loney 1 for 3 against O'Day. That hit a home run. Ball, no strikes. How about this? 7th inning or later for Loney. 3:37. We're in the 8th. That would qualify.
Every time.
And a good takeaway. 2 balls, no strikes. Oviedo busy in the Rays bullpen. Matt is standing on the bullpen mound down the left side for Baltimore. There's Juan Carlos Oviedo. Strike. Wasn't sure about that. It's 2-1.
Yeah, and I agree with him. This ball off the plate when it started, wow. It ended there. That wasn't really even close.
Amazing how far that was off the plate. I mean, you got to make the right call there. 2-1, lifted into center field. Adam Jones will go back after to make the catch. Longoria's going to tag and decide to hang on. So Loney's the second out.
First baseman, number 1, Sean Rodriguez.
So Sean Rodriguez due up. And he's now going to head back into the dugout. And David DeJesus is coming on to pinch hit. It'll be DeJesus to get the call here with a man at first and 2 outs in the 8th. Longoria walked to open the inning. Zobrist chased a pitch wide and struck out. Loney hit a fly ball to center. DeJesus announced. Buck Showalter comes out. He's going to make the call to the bullpen. He wants a left-hander in there in this situation. We'll return in just a moment. Announced against the left-hander, or against the right-hander O'Day, and now the left-hander Madison here. And of course, Sands yesterday with 3 broken bats on 3 consecutive pitches, and finally got the broken bat that he needed to get a base hit to drive in the go-ahead run. In the 8th inning in Houston, the Rays went on to win that one 4-3. 3 pitches, 3 broken bats, and a run batted in. He's on to face the left-hander Mattis. So after all of that maneuvering, the Rays get a right-handed hitter in there against the new pitcher, the lefty Brian Mattis, making his 32nd appearance. Ball 1. Runner at first is Longoria, who drew the opening walk off O'Day. He's there with 2 outs. Sands ahead in the count.
No, this is where he can turn it loose. Jerry Sands, a tremendous amount of power. Brian Mattis, not an overpowering lefty.
And a drive! High! Deep! And fair! Gone! Pinch hit home run! Jerry Sands, look at those eyes.
That's what the ball looked like.
He got the big hit, the broken bat base hit yesterday in Houston, comes off the bench in this game and hits it out, and the Rays lead 5-3. The pitch to Forsythe is a strike. First pinch hit home run for Jerry Sands. And he still doesn't believe what he just saw. Or what he just did, for that matter. Wow, what a shot. Deep short. Hardy's throw. Davis can't come up with it, and Forsythe is aboard. That'll be a base hit. A majestic home run.
Well, did we say a tremendous amount of power or what in a 2-0 count? Only question was, what was it going to stay fair? That ball was popped.
Oh, my. Take a look. Converted an Orioles fan into a Rays fan. Hannigan takes a pitch down. 1 ball, no strikes. How about that blast?
How about it? How about Joe Madden with the 2-for-1?
Yeah, Rodriguez was due. Then he went to DeJesus. Pitching change, brought the lefty in.
Switch it right back over.
Sands on the bench.
That's why he is up in that situation. Two 2-0 the count on Ryan Hannigan. Ball 3, 3-0. The Rays have hit 3 home runs in this game. And that's ball 4, 4-pitch walk.
pushed Forsythe up to second base for Sands. His 5th big league home run. He had 4 with the Dodgers in 2011. The last one was September 20th in 2011. And he comes off the bench and delivers a big 2-run home run in the 8th inning for the Rays tonight. Kiermaier against the lefty, queuing 1 foul. One.
Well, the man of the hour right there.
Yeah, he's still pretty amazed.
He's spinning a tail.
Some great expression right there. Cut the miss. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Well, after what he did yesterday, going through those bats and getting that big hit for the Rays. Have to worry about getting a new bat for his next. I mean, that ball. Wow.
Well, that's what he said yesterday. He's going to have to get a new shipment of bats. Order some new ones after breaking 3 yesterday. Well, he had the right one that time left over.
All different colors.
Kiermaier goes out of play with a foul ball up the left side. So the Rays now with 5 runs. And now that's off his leg. Count is still 2-2. It's been a tough at bat. Got even tougher for Kiermaier here.
Pound this into the dirt and got him pretty good.
Kiermaier's out on strikes to retire the side, but the Rays got the big blow, a pinch hit home run from Jerry Sands, a 2-run blast. So the Rays put up 2 in the 8th and carry a 5-3 lead into the 9th.
Rays leading 5-3. Don't forget, coming up after the game, it'll be our Rays Live post-game show presented by Checkers. We will have sounds from the Rays clubhouse. Kelly Nash will be gathering interviews, including the skipper, Joe Madden. I'll be hosting out in left field with the rest of Estrada. Pretty close to where that Jerry Sands home run landed, right shy of our set out there in left field. As always, Dwayne and BA with their thoughts on this one. That's all coming up on Rays Live, presented by Checkers, after the game, guys.
All right, Todd, thank you very much. Well, the Rays carry a 2-run lead into the 9th inning. Juan Carlos Oviedo will be on the mound, and they're going to give up the DH with James Loney taking over at first base. Oviedo goes into the lineup in the 6th spot. So here's Oviedo making his 23rd appearance. Ryan Flaherty leads off against him. 1 ball, no strikes.
Oviedo coming in bottom of the Baltimore lineup. See Flaherty 0 for 3 on the night.
Couple of strikeouts. Cut the miss, and the count is 1-1. Delman Young is out there on deck. Caleb Joseph, the catcher's spot, is due next, so Young will be the pinch hitter for him. The chop. Escobar. Long throw. Got him. Escobar with the shift around there had to go to his right after that one and made a very good throw to first base.
Yeah, you got to know who's running and know how much you're going to have to put on that throw to get him. Flaherty tried to take advantage of that shift and pop one the other way. Look at him just reach out there and chop it up the middle. You got to wait for it, not get rid of it. Half a step.
That's the first out, and so important to get that leadoff man. Here's Delman Young. He takes a strike. In the bottom of the 8th inning, they scored that ball hit by Forsythe, an error on Hardy. Tend to want to give him a hit, but right now it stands as an error. The Rays have 8 hits, and the Orioles have 1 error. 1-1 the count. So it's 5-8-0 for the Rays, 3-7-1 for Baltimore. Jerry Sands, pinch hit home run. There's a strike on the outside corner. I mentioned those home runs that Sands had hit while up with the Dodgers. He had 53 home runs in the minor leagues between major league home runs. Two to Young. 2-2. Oviedo. And here, as we mentioned, with that 2-win, 2-loss record, saves. And as you know, with his time down and across the state in Miami with the Marlins, he racked up a lot of saves. But Sands had not hit a home run in the majors since 2011. Oviedo hasn't had a save since then. There's a long one to left. Silvers will watch it get out. A pinch hit home run for Young, and now it's 5-4.
That goes right back, Dwayne, to what you were talking about the leadoff hitter and why it was so important to get him, because of that threat from Delman Young. And that home run trimmed that Rays lead to just 1. He went down and got this with authority. Down and in. That was more like where left-handed hitters like that ball working down and in. Look at him just drop the head. And see later.
So a pinch hit home run makes it a 1-run ball game. Nick Markakis, who's been on 3 consecutive times, takes a strike. Markakis, after grounding out to start this game, has walked, doubled, and singled, and has scored 2 of the 4 Baltimore runs. Oh, 2. Fastball in there for a strike. The other way, foul. Out of play. Markakis stepping back. Oviedo taking a bit too much time for his liking. One ball, 2 strikes.
Oviedo primarily fastball, changeup, occasional breaking ball, and more of the fastball changeup against the left-handed hitters. Try to keep that ball moving away from him, especially in situations like this.
Away again off the plate. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Manny Machado is on deck. Pitch 2-2. Popped him up. Longoria waiting. 2 gone. Oviedo goes to 2-2 on Markakis and gets the pop to third.
They got him reaching. Watch out, Markakis. This ball down. He's out in front of it and reaching, and that ball just squirts straight up in the air. Easy second out. 1 more to get.
Manny Machado will be the hitter. He had a base hit in the 8th inning, giving him 1 for 4. Pitch outside. 1 ball and no strikes. When Joe Maddon went to the bullpen by committee, he didn't really think about Oviedo closing. He wanted to give him a little more time to work his way toward that role. But here he is trying to close this one out as circumstances would have it. And a popper to Escobar in shallow left field. Rays win it. Escobar takes care of the popper off the bat of Machado. And the Rays win this one 5-4 on a pinch hit